Variables in Python. Imagine you wrote the number 7 on a piece of paper, then put the piece of paper in an envelope with my favorite number written on it. I agreed to look after the envelope for you. That's how variables work when you're writing code. A variable has a name, like my favorite number, and a value like the number 7. If you came back later and asked me what my favorite number was, I'd look in the envelope and show you the piece of paper with a 7 written on it. That's how variables work in code too. You can use the name of a variable to use the value inside it. That way, if I want to find a number that's double my favorite number, I can tell the computer to take my favorite number and multiply it by 2. If you change your mind and decided your favorite number was now 10, you could write that on a piece of paper and give it to me to put in the envelope. I would take out the old piece of paper and throw it in the recycling bin, and put the new piece of paper with 10 on it in the envelope instead. Now, when you ask me for my favorite number, I'll be able to show you it's 10, not 7. That's the reason why variables are useful, because you can change the value that's stored inside a variable, but refer to it with the same name, and the computer will use the last value you gave it. Variables let us write code using values that might change, or where we can't know the value at the time we're writing the code. Variables are used to store information to be referenced and manipulated in a computer program. It has a name and a value. In Python, variables are normally written with all lowercase words separated with underscores. This is something all Python coders do because it makes it easier for us all to read and understand each other's code. We have to use underscores instead of spaces because in Python, variable names can't have spaces. To put a value into a variable, you always first write the variable's name, then an equal sign, then the value. Python will take everything on the right side of the equal sign and then put it into the variable on the left side. This works even if you're replacing an existing value. For example, in this first line of code, the name of our variable is my favorite number and the value is 7. Giving the command print my favorite number, which is 7. Another variable, my favorite number, which is 10. And giving the command print my favorite number. It's the same name for our variable, but different value. The third variable name favorite color, which the blue is inside a quotation mark. To use the value from inside a variable, you just use the variable's name. Let's try it out with this code that will tell you the number of children in a class. We have variable named number of girls, which the value is 9, and number of boys, which the value is 7. And given the commands to print the number of boys and the number of girls. What's really clever is that you can use the value of one variable to make the value of another variable. For example, in this code, that works out how many black keys there are on a piano. We have a variable named keys on a piano that has a value 88, white keys that has a value 52, and variable black keys which has the value keys on a piano minus white keys. The last line of code tells Python to take the number of keys on a piano 88, subtract the number of white keys 52, and store the answer 36 inside the black keys. Variables are useful because they help us with maths and let us store answers that we might need lots of times in the rest of our code without having to do lots of calculations every time. So, here's the challenge. What's the passcode? The passcode can be found from my age multiplied by itself, multiplied by the coordinates of the manor, and added to the number of pigeons living in the manor.